All right, founders, it is time for another pitch deck critique and review. And this time we have a pitch deck from MonoClean, from some fellow Canadians out east. And this is a pre-seed deck, and it is for cleaning services. As you can see, an app that is going to help you get cleaning services. I am going to say that this deck for me is a 50-50. And what do I mean by this? There are two things going on here. First, this deck is very sound. A lot of compliments to this founder and this team. The deck, as far as technical, mechanically, from a pitch deck perspective, is very sound, top notch. All the fundamentals are there. Don't want you to lose that. But the issue is that we have not pushed the idea far enough to make this startup differentiated to get investors' attention. And I'll explain. It's a little too generic right now. I'm going to give you some ideas on how to push it. If you're watching this, that means these founders have graciously decided to allow us to all take a look at it, allowing me to publish this on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for all your courage, and thank you for your effort. And as always, I never do these pitch deck reviews unless I believe there's something that we can all learn from this, which I believe is the case right here. And if you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you have your own pitch decks, let me know. Leave me a note in the comments. Contact me. You can send me your pitch deck, and I'm happy to do a review like this because I personally raised over 9 figures for my startup and other startups back in the day, as well as advising over 550 founders through startups.com in the last 2 years and some odd months of change. And I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to show you all the best practices that you can use to raise a pre-seed round. Let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is look at the tagline. I always look at this on the cover page right here. What is the subheadline? Applications to help clients find cleaning services. Like I said, I like it because it has no marketing fluff. It's straightforward to the point. This is an app to help clients find cleaning services. But when you're dealing with something like cleaning services, this is a little too generic. I want you to put a little more information. Tell me a little bit about what makes this different. Is it cheaper cleaning services? Faster cleaning services? Cleaning service for a specific type of cleaning? Hard to find cleaning services? Something along those lines. We're going to look for some differentiation. I've got some ideas as I go through this deck, but right now we're looking at it being a little too generic, and you risk having the investor go, great. There's nothing really special here as far as cleaning service is concerned. But like I said, top marks for being right there and being very specific about the industry and straightforward communication in terms of what this startup is all about. Next, we're looking at the problem slide. Here's something that you want to do. Make this smaller. Problem should not be the biggest text. If anything, it should be straightforward, right up top, and really small, like problem, like that size right there. And make this text bigger is going to be important. I like what you're trying to do here with this stuff, but it's competing because all this text is the same size as what you've got going on. Therefore, rearrange this slide a little bit to focus on making this sentence a lot bigger and making it the main driver and the focal point of this slide. Let's read this here. It says approximately 14.8 million households in the US and Canada struggle to find cleaning services that satisfy their quality, pricing, scheduling, and trust criteria. It's a little generic. We want to push this. I'm curious as to where this 14.8 million number comes from, because I know for a fact there are way more households in Canada that could use cleaning services. What made you get to this point where you have isolated 14.8 million? Is this something in terms of data that you found? Have you surveyed them? Can we get a little more information, and can we be more specific about how painful this problem is? What are we talking about? Quality, pricing, scheduling, trust criteria? Is it maybe 14.8 million people don't want to schedule cleaners based on price, but scheduling? Or 14.8 million are happy to pay any price, but they can't get the right people that they trust? What's going on here? I need this problem statement to be a little more specific, because right now, from an investor standpoint, this is not really a problem that I'm seeing. I'm seeing that, okay, 14.8 million want it, but they're not going to get it. How painful is it? Is this going to compel me as an investor to actually think that there's a solution that I want to invest in, and that's going to make me money? Here's the solution slide. MonoClean is the app that lets households easily find a professional and trusted cleaner with fair pricing at a convenient time. Let me tell you what's really great about this solution here. It's 100%. This is an A+ solution statement. And let me explain to you the reason it is that way, because it reverse engineers the problem. Let me stop here and explain to you. problem solution. The solution needs to be the reverse engineering of the problem. You're working backwards. So if your problem is something is slow and manual, your solution has to say it is fast and automated. And that's what this pitch deck does. Right on. I like it. I'm going to point out here the problem says quality, prices, scheduling, and trust criteria. And the solution addresses a professional trusted cleaning with fair pricing at a convenient time. Right on. But the problem was too generic. Obviously, I want these types of qualities, but you're not giving me any data on whether this is a true problem or not, at least from my perspective. And maybe you as the founder, you're sitting there thinking, Ed, you don't see it. That's the point, is I don't see it. I'm not familiar enough with this problem yet because, quite frankly, if I want a cleaning service, I know multiple people. I can throw a rock and hit basically 3 cleaning services that I know of, and I contact the company directly, and they come from word of mouth referrals. And what are you saying here? Maybe the problem is that people aren't getting the right word of mouth referrals. I don't have that problem. Therefore, you are going to have to show me, give me some unique, novel insight, and educate me that this is a problem. You have to look from the investor's perspective as far as the context of the market. If the investor is thinking to themselves, I don't see that as a problem, their context is not conducive to investing in your company. You have to change their perspective, reframe it. So what I want you to do is reframe the problem here for me so that I can understand it or know that it's painful. Even though I might not have that problem, tell me someone who does have that problem. Explain to me how 14.8 million people have this problem, Ed, when you don't. That's your job in the problem solution statement. Like I said, top marks for making this problem statement. Awesome in terms of technically pulling it together, but I'm missing the information that tells me that this is a solution for a painful problem that I want to invest in. How it works: clients book affordable cleaning quickly, save time, and enjoy reliable service with the app. This is the issue starting off this slide. You've already told me this with your solution statement, so I don't have to put this. I'm looking for this information. User opens the app and chooses between residential or commercial cleaning. Got it. Now we move to step 2, but I have to go to another slide to read this. You don't need to do that. I want you to put everything into one slide. You take this out, and I want you to put 1, 2, 3, 4, all on one slide. But let's look at what you're going to be saying on each of these slides here. Step 2 is book. User fills out a form step by step, selecting details for cleaning service and scheduling. Step 3, track. Once a cleaner is selected, the user can view their profile ratings and statistics, as well as communicate with them. Then step 4, after cleaning, the user can verify the work in person or by reviewing the photos or videos. Step 5, user provides a star rating and can tip the cleaner for good service. What I'm missing right here is how do these cleaners get paid? If you're tipping over here, is this a full payment? I don't know. We're missing that step because that's something that I'm going to be looking at. Now, here's the thing. Once again, I'm hitting some cognitive dissonance. I'm just going to be straightforward as far as this deck is concerned because it seems so simple. It doesn't seem like there's a problem. Why can't I just go to any of these other websites? And I know the competitive slide is coming up, but I need to understand, does the market really need a solution that's this simple? Doesn't make sense for me. I get it. We're going to be the Uber for cleaning, but do we really need this? Is it that much of a problem? Maybe there's no trust rating system, and that's the one feature that you're going to be really good at. And that's the unique insight that all these other options have ways to contact cleaners. And I'm thinking about Google reviews. I look at Google reviews for cleaners that are all over the place. Why wouldn't I trust Google reviews? Maybe you're telling me that those reviews aren't better because they don't have a specific thing in terms of how much was paid. Maybe this is totally about transparency, how much the cleaner was paid and the review. What are you telling me that's different? You see, right now, I'm trying to find ways to differentiate your startup, but I'm missing it. And that's where you're going to miss it with investors, because if they have to do so much work to try and figure out what is going on here, why am I having a hard time processing something this simple? Explain it to them, put it right in front of them, put it right in front of their face, and make them realize, hey, this is a major issue that people overlook. Maybe that's what we're missing right here. Tell me. I'd love to hear it. I'm literally asking. I'm genuinely asking you to explain it to me, because if indeed the market needs a solution this simple, well, then you've got a massive unicorn on your hands, but I'm not getting it right now. Work with me on it. Let's move to market size. Once again, great slide. Monoclean aims at the janitorial services market, initially focusing on residential and commercial cleanings in Ontario, which we believe can realistically be accomplished. I like the logic. Here's the big global TAM right here, 362.98 billion. Great. Global cleaning service market size. And then global SAM, you've got 10 billion janitorial services market size in Canada. This is not your global SAM. This is your Canadian SAM. And then local SOM, Ontario, is $4 billion is what you could be making. I'm having some issues. Like I said, the mechanics are good. The math works out in terms of the way that you've approached your TAM, SAM, SOM. The titles need to be reworked. But what's going on with this janitorial services? This is interesting thing to me, because are you saying that there's a different market segment for janitorial services? What is janitorial services? Which brings me to an interesting idea. Maybe you're saying that residential cleaning are individuals in their cars, or they've got maid services, and maid services aren't cutting it. And there's this whole section of cleaners that are janitorial that will come and clean your home. Maybe. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. On top of which, including janitorial services and saying that you're going to be residential and commercial, those are two different markets, and that can be difficult as well. Maybe your TAM is how many households could use janitorial services that are residential and commercial, and then maybe you're going to boil it all the way down and say we're going to focus on residential using janitorial services, and it's going to be in Ontario. Or vice versa, you're saying it's going to be commercial using janitorial services and it's in Ontario. It seems like combining residential and janitorial together is going to make things a bit complicated and a bit of a stretch. But I don't understand what janitorial means, because it hasn't been mentioned anywhere else in this deck. Is that a competitive differentiator for you? Is that a different set of features that you're offering for janitorial cleaners? Are they even different than the maid services that I think about driving around in those little cars with the little buckets and all the cleaning supplies in there? Or even just the individuals say, I will come clean your home, and you can go find them listed all over the place, let's say in Facebook or other social media. Help me understand this. I sound like a broken record, but fundamentally this deck is so sound that I'm struggling because we don't have enough information to differentiate this startup. Now we're going to the business model. We're implementing a mission-based revenue model and plan to charge a 10% fee on each order. All right, this is good, solid, straightforward. Don't mind it at all. Competitors. Here's where we're going to run into some friction here for the investor. I like the competitive benefits matrix. You've got this going on. But here's where I've got some questions. Quality checks, punctuality degree, vetted professional, transparent billing, direct messaging. But how are you doing these things? We haven't figured that out yet. And that's where I'm going to get you to go back to your business model and explain, how do you do a punctuality guarantee? Is this part of the problem that you're solving? That maybe you can book cleaning services, but nobody shows up on time. Or maybe what you're saying is, of all the cleaners out there, none of them are professionally vetted, and all you can do is go online and read their Google review. Who knows? You're telling me that this is vetted professionals. And on top of which, you've got Monoclean, Handy, TaskRabbit, and Cleanster. I get it. But what about going direct? You are not addressing how I go and contact the cleaning company directly. I know for a fact there are a lot of cleaning companies with their own booking services, their own apps, and they made it super easy. This is where the rubber meets the road for me here, because I told you my context as an investor, I'm going direct to the cleaning company, reading their Google reviews, and I'm booking on their website, or I'm getting word of mouth referrals from other people. I can go out on my Facebook or my LinkedIn right now and say, hey, which cleaner do you use? And I will get literally a dozen referrals from people that I trust, and I'll just try all of them, and I'll contact, maybe get my assistant call and give quotes from each one, and bada bing, bada boom, you got cleaning. So help me understand why I would use your app to go in and look at all the cleaners when I could be going direct, and what advantage is there for me? What problem are you solving for me that I'm not going to get by doing what I normally do? The regular behavior of your users, even if it's doing nothing, is competition. And when you've got a more generic problem that you're solving, and you've got the challenges that we're facing in this deck, the more direct and specific you need to become. Founders and team slide. I like what's going on here. I would just have to say, make all this bigger. This is way too small. I'm straining my eyes to read this. You got all this space in here, make it super big. Fundraise slide, pretty straightforward. I like it. You got 190K, and you want to basically say, we're going to use that 190K to launch in 5 months, which are your milestones. That is fantastic. And all the rest of this stuff checks out at a glance. Pretty good. I like how simple this slide is. Once again, just showing that this deck is fundamentally sound, but we're missing some information. Finally, we get to your context slide. You only need to have one person. I'd rather talk to the CEO. So just make one person the contact for your final slide. There you have it. Hope that's been helpful. Like I said, Great deck, very solid fundamentals. We need to push the business model a lot more. Think through. Get back to me on when you've got something new. I'd love to follow up with this deck. As always, appreciate all the support from everybody who checks out the channel. I'll see you in the next pitch deck critique and review.